Hello there, Trailblazers fans. Welcome into another episode of the 1977 podcast, a podcast that runs 19 minutes and 77 seconds long in honor of your 1977 world champion Portland Trailblazers. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. You can follow me over on social at Chris J. Burkhardt. You can also follow me and find me 2 hours before every single Trailblazers game live on Blazers Game Day, your pregame show on your home, the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Also have the post-game show, the fifth quarter, also there on Rip City Radio. Cool part about that, you don't have to be at a radio. Go download the iHeart Music app or follow us on YouTube, and you can tune into those shows wherever you may be. Now, let's just get right to business. We ain't going to waste a lot of time here. We got to start talking about what happened as the Blazers return home from their road trip, because against the Brooklyn Nets, we finally saw what we've all wanted to see. What do I mean? They lost, Chris. How did we see what we wanted to see? We finally saw the young guys just get a chance to take over, man. It wasn't the DeAndre Ayton show. It wasn't the Jeremy Grant show. It wasn't even the Anthony Simons show. It was the young guys who all had the green light, who put the team on their back, and who showed out. And you got to give them credit for that, man. It was so good to see. And yes, they lost the game 132-114, but seeing the team go out there and play the way they did was a sight for sore eyes. It truly was. It truly was. Anthony Simons had just 11 points in this one. DeAndre Ayton had 2 points. He had a pretty abysmal game all the way around, and we can talk about that more throughout the show. But Scoot Henderson and Toumani Camara had 44 of the team's 61 first-half points. When the night ended, Toumani Camara had a career-high 23 points. Scoot Henderson had a career-high 39 points. Shaedon Sharpe chipped in 21. Donovan Clingan, he only had a handful of points, but he did pull down 14 rebounds. And the team looked good. They looked good. And it was so fun to watch. It was so fun to see Scoot get on a heater. It was so fun to see Toumani Camara just absolutely have a green light. Inside the gym, if the ball hits your hand, shoot it, young fella. Toumani Camara ended the night 7 of 21 shooting. Not ideal. It's still, 1 for 3. But still, it was so nice because we've talked about him so many times. How last year he came in right off the bat and he was good defensively, right? But the offensive side was like, okay, we just need him to improve there offensively, get a little bit better. Once he gets that confidence, he'll be good. Well, guess what? The confidence is there. You got to have confidence to go take 21 shots. And with that becomes point production too. I don't think he's going to go out there and score you 23 points every single night, but boy, howdy was it nice to see him do it. Be aggressive. Show no hesitation. And just ball. That's what you love to see from Toumani. And then, of course, bringing it on the defensive side, which he's done every single game since he stepped on the NBA court with the Trailblazers. I've said it here on the podcast. I said it on the radio. He is the most fun I have had watching a player play on the defensive side of the ball since Wesley Matthews was in town. And that's saying something, because we all love Iron Man, right? And so Toumani goes out there and he just plays wonderfully. He plays wonderfully. And then there's Scoot Henderson. What can't you say about Scoot Henderson's performance? Scoot Henderson, his 9th shot of the game was his first miss. He started the game 8 of 8 from the floor, including 6 of 6 from beyond the arc. And the other 2 that weren't three-pointers were pretty sweet dunks. One dunk on the fast break to open up the game and another on a putback. That was the Scoot Henderson everyone has wanted to see since day one. And it wasn't about the point production. It was about the way in which he was playing. He was playing loose. He was playing free. He did not look bottled up. He did not look slow. He didn't look like he was stopping to think where he was supposed to be. He was just balling. He was just hooping. Now, he's said before that he kind of likes it when there's less structure because he can just go out and do things like that. It was just so nice. And maybe it was because he was in the starting lineup. Denny Avdia didn't play in this one because he hurt his ankle at practice. So the starting lineup, they went small. Scoot Henderson, Anthony Simons, Shaedon Sharpe, Toumani Camara, and then DeAndre Ayton at the 5. That was their starting lineup. Now it makes you wonder in the long run, do they mix things up a bit? Because that worked. That worked. Now I'm not saying you're keeping everybody, but, I'm just saying. It was fun to see the young guys get the green light. And then Shaedon Sharpe, he was quiet. He was 9 of 17, but he was making shots when he needed to make shots. He was doing what he needed to do, playing Shaden Sharp ball, and Scoot was finding him on some nice cuts, and just everything about the young guys was what you write home about. It was so nice to see. And I hope that, given a full healthy team, if Grant comes back in the next few games and Ayton gets back involved, that it doesn't come at the expense of those guys. Because getting a chance to see them play was phenomenal. And look what you got. You got good basketball. You lost the game, yes. But the wins and the losses don't matter. Also, if you're going to lose a game, this is an important one to lose. Because you lost this game, and by losing, you actually gained ground in where you need to go in the tankathon. You jumped over the Nets as having a worse record now. Moved into sixth worst record. Got to get capture the flag, right? That's what I've been told. But regardless of capture the flag, development of the guys you have right now is crucial to team success. Because you don't want to go play capture the flag, and then you manage to get into the number one pick, and you grab Cooper Flag, and then you're like, okay, now it's time to develop all the other guys too. Let's develop Cooper and everyone, and we can be on the same developmental timeline, despite the fact that, Shaden Sharp would be going into year 4. Right? You got to just develop them now as much as you can. So to see the young guys go out there and get a chance to show what they can do without handcuffs was phenomenal. No two ways about it. It was phenomenal. Again, you take the loss, but you also know in this realm, you take the good with the bad. So that's the bad. Unless your team tank, it was good. But again, it didn't require DeAndre Ayton. It didn't require Anthony Simons. It didn't require Jeremy Grant. This was young guys through and through, showing why you drafted them, why you want them, why they're important. How can you not love that? How can you not love that? That was great. Now, there was some bad, too. There was some bad. The baddest, the worst of the night was what happened in, the last 30 seconds of the game. Donovan Clingan goes up for a rebound, appears to injure his left leg again, falls to the floor. He hobbles off, goes straight to the locker room, slams the canopy that covers the tunnel. Obvious discomfort, obvious anger at the situation. The first thing that went through everybody's mind was a re-aggravation of the MCL injury that kept him sidelined for about a month earlier in the season. And that would have been awful. That would have been kind of worst case scenario outside of like a full knee explosion and tearing the ACL and all that. Because you run that slippery slope of like getting back in, hurting the same knee. Like how do you got to make sure you really get it taken care of. But Coach was asked about it post-game, and it was an ankle injury, not the knee, an ankle injury, which is better, okay? It's not the worst case there. That was the knee again. I'll say this, though. I think a sign of good things, and hopefully he won't be out too long, is he injured the leg. But when he got up from the floor, it was his injured leg that he used. Like he put his left leg down and stood up on that. And if the leg is real bad, if it was the knee or even the ankle, putting all the weight through that leg is hard. So you're probably going to use the other leg to get up, right? And he didn't do that. We still haven't got a word on what the official injury is. When we do get that, we'll let you know. Keep it locked in to myself on social as well as Hyken, Sean Hyken, our Trailblazers insider for Rip City Radio, and locked into Rip City Radio socials because we'll get you updated as soon as we can with any updates that come through. But again, that was probably the best case when he came up, and it was just an ankle, likely just an ankle sprain, hopefully not a high ankle sprain, something that would keep him out for an extended period of time, much like Matisse Thybulle right now. But no, it wasn't the knee, so we can all breathe a sigh of relief. And he was having a good game. He had 14 some odd rebounds, only had 4 points, but it was a good performance all the way around for the things you want him to do. Again, there are the holes in his game, absolutely. But I'm glad he's out there getting a big chunk of minutes because you need him out there and you need him to learn. Learning is important in these situations, right? Now, for some other bad, I said this on the postgame show, and it was just like, I sit up there in media row, right? And I'm not supposed to yell and do my thing, and I don't. You gotta keep buttoned up. I'm not the coach. But boy, if I were the coach, you would have heard me throughout the entire Moda Center yelling, "Get back on defense. too many of these guys not getting back on defense, absolutely weird to me. Absolutely weird to me. Shaden Sharp, miss a layup, mope for a second, don't get back on defense. Delano Banton, miss a layup, mope for a second, don't get back on defense. And perhaps the most egregious of the night was DeAndre Ayton, who just wasn't locked in on the defensive side of the ball. There was a point in that game where Anthony Simons has the ball, runs down, sees DeAndre, tries to get him with an alley-oop. He throws the alley-oop pass. Brooklyn cuts it off, gets the interception, if you will. They push it down court. Next thing you know, it's 5-on-4 because why? DeAndre Ayton's just sagging back. His guy sees that there's no guy covering him in the paint and just keeps running right to the rim. What does Brooklyn do? Alley-oop pass, dunk, easy buckets. All because DeAndre Ayton did not get back on defense. And then after that play, it was just like, okay, are your feet glued to the floor? Are you under strict orders not to jump for a rebound? You are good. We know you're good. Show it off a little bit, dude. What are we doing? We are going through the motions. We are going through the motions, man. We're a former number 1 overall pick. We're a guy getting paid 30+ mil. Why are we going through the motions? Why? And so that was weird. I did not like that. And you could tell that Chauncey didn't like it either because he played sparingly. He only played a little over 20 minutes. And if the spirit wasn't there and you could tell that he was, kind of dragging his feet, Chauncey pulled him out. And so you got a good run from Donovan Clingan last night. But I cannot get over DeAndre Ayton okay, I'm here, guys. I showed up for work today. Where's my paycheck? Like, play the game, man. We have seen good DeAndre Ayton this year. We absolutely have. There have been games. There have been games where we see a lot of bad DeAndre Ayton too, which is so frustrating because when you see good DeAndre Ayton, you're like, okay, I can see why people wanted to pay this guy. I totally see, okay, but goes up 20 points, 15 boards, life's good. But then you get games like today where it's like the effort level is just not there. And I'll tell you what, one thing a Blazer fan will call out nonstop, the E word, effort. Effort. You could be the worst player on the roster, but if you're going to give all-out effort, Blazer fans fall in love with you, dude. Look at the guy who was on that Nets team last night. He didn't play because he was out injured, but Trendon Watford, right? Trendon Watford is not the best player to ever wear a Blazer jersey. Nowhere close to it. Nowhere close to it. Wasn't even the best player on his own roster here in his time in Portland. But Blazer fans loved him. Why? Effort. The E word. He showed effort every single night. He brought it. I think it's the same reason fans love Jabari Walker. Jabari Walker has plenty of holes in his game. Jabari Walker still makes boneheaded mistakes now and then. He dribbles the ball off of his ankle. But fans love him. Why? Effort. Motor. 100% all the time. So when you get a guy like DeAndre who goes out there and gives you 50, if you're lucky on a given night, you get irritated. Because at the end of the day, one thing I've noticed about Blazer fans, man, is the box score matters a little to a point. But it don't matter what the box score says if you gave zero effort. If you went out there and you got a 10-point, 10-rebound, double-double, no one's singing your praises if you did it half-assed, right? Got to show the effort. Now, the young guys, man, again, who's another guy who's all motor all the time? Toumani Camara. Yeah, another guy who's all motor all the time? Denny Avdia. Another guy who's all motor all the time, but he's driving a big old Ford truck that lumbers around even though it's given full effort. It's Donovan Clingan. You get what I'm saying? It's like the farm rig, right? Old dependable. He's not winning any drag races, right? He's not winning any sprints, but you can hook the trailer up to him and he's going to get the job done. He gives effort, and you can tell he gives effort. That's why he gets subbed out, quite frankly, because he's winded. He's huffing. He's sucking wind. I need a sub, coach. Sometimes you're out there like, DeAndre, did you just take the Dasani and dump it over the top of your head? Because I don't think you're breaking a sweat. And that was the game against Brooklyn. And so that's frustrating. That's very, very frustrating. You need effort, man. That's all Blazer fans ask for, effort. All effort all the time, the rest will follow. No one's going to be upset. But when you go out there and you aren't jumping for rebounds and you're not getting back on defense, yeah, I'm going to get irritated. So that one needs to be fixed. Unfortunately, I think the only way to fix that is the trade market, man. I don't know if DeAndre Ayton has a spot on this roster moving forward, especially with that effort. But that's going to be hard to do with the new CBA, man. We're going to see it play out here. Trade deadline's in 3 weeks. And you're going to see that with the first apron and the second apron and GM still, deciding what part of the pool to jump in because the deep end was a lot deeper than they thought. Like, how are they going to navigate that? That second apron, man, for those second apron teams, that handicaps them a ton. You can't aggregate salaries to bring someone in, and you can't bring in more than 100% of your outgoing salary. It's like, look at Milwaukee. Like, if Milwaukee wants to get in on the Jimmy Butler sweepstake, it's like the only player that they can trade out to do it is Damian Lillard. So they'd have to move in other pieces around first to try to get under the second apron to then have a little bit of leeway to make moves. But if you do that, you're also getting rid of your contracts that would make a Jimmy Butler trade work. So yeah, it's going to be hard for these teams to pull trades. Luckily, Portland's not a second apron team, and they got room to work with. It's finding the other dance partner that's going to be rough, someone that can deal with you the way you need them to deal with you. Because if it's a playoff team or a team that's a championship contender that wants Jeremy, and they're sitting there at the second apron, and they can only send one guy back to get Jeremy Grant, they can't aggregate their salaries, and they can't add things. It's just got to be a 1-for-1. Portland's not in the mood to take on another $30 million contract just for the hell of it. They want assets and draft picks, right? So it's going to be hard to find that dance partner. But for Jeremy Grant, I think more people are going to be willing to tango. You got a guy out there who makes $30 million, but he goes out there and he's a good shooter, a really, really good shooter. He's put that on full display for Portland. Not a great rebounder for a power forward, but I mean, you can put him in position where maybe he can play small forward on your team, or you put him in a position where he's playing power forward, but you don't need him to go out there and get 10 boards a night because you're putting him around people who get the job done for you. So that would work. And I think there's going to be a market for him. The DeAndre Ayton one is a little bit different because just for all the negatives that we just said, like, what is your market for a 7-foot center who makes $30 million plus, who gives half effort? My gut tells me that the market's pretty small. Not a lot of people lining up for that. So Portland's going to have to really, really work some magic to get that one taken care of. And I would also watch like what Phoenix does, right? Because you are going to want to watch Yusuf Nurkic and really analyze what goes on there. Because look at like a team like Charlotte. I think Charlotte could use a center. Well, if they go out and trade for Yusuf Nurkic, guess what? That knocks a team off the list that DeAndre Ayton could have went to. And you're looking at why would you take Yusuf Nurkic over? Yeah, because Yusuf Nurkic is still going to go get you, 12 and 10 on half the contract. Might still be a headache, but the headache's probably easier to deal with when it's making half the money. That's going to do it, though, for this episode. We're up against the clock here. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. If you guys want to follow me on social, I'd much appreciate it. The name's Chris J. Burkhardt. Keep in mind, before and after every Trailblazers game, it's game day in the 5th quarter that I host right there on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio. Just go download the iHeartRadio music app right now. Game day, Blazer games, and post-game shows all at your fingertips. Plenty of ways to tune in, plenty of ways to get Blazer talk. Thank you so much, Rip City. I'll talk to you on the next one.
You've been listening to the 1977 podcast. See you next time.